Growing up in the early 2010s and also being fortunate enough to be a middle-class kid, an essential part to my childhood experience was browser gaming. Browser gaming is, for those of you who don't know, is when you play games on a browser. These were funded by different media companies like Disney, Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon, and so a lot of the games that were on whatever website it was, like Disney.com for example, a lot of the games were based off the shows that were airing on Disney Channel at the time. I think for the most part, the kids who were lucky enough to partake in browser gaming were the ones whose parents looked at things like the Xbox or the PlayStation as being a waste of money. Because why on earth would you spend the money to buy Call of Duty Black Ops 2, the most popular game of pretty much all time, when you could just play Go Diego Go's Jaguar Rescue Adventure? Because they're basically the same thing, right? Now, that being said, don't let my description fool you into thinking that browser gaming was devoid of any good games at all. In fact, there are what I like to call internet staples that came from browser gaming. The biggest ones being Club Penguin, we all know Club Penguin, Neopets, and Pop Tropica. But out of all these games, literally all of them, one stood out to me above the rest: Animal Jam. Oh wait, wrong picture. Yeah, that's right, Animal Jam. A quick disclaimer, I haven't played this game in like 5 years, so I'm a little rusty. Yeah. Now, like I said earlier, a lot of the browser games that I played were funded by some other big company, and Animal Jam is no different. Animal Jam was funded by National Geographic. Now, in Animal Jam, you get to play as almost any animal you could ever dream of. I say almost because A, they haven't implemented every single animal that has ever existed, and B, all of the cool animals were locked behind the membership paywall. Now, whenever I started playing the game, I think back in like 2011, maybe 2010, there was only like 5 animals you could pick from. Today, there's like a lot more. But again, most of the cool ones are still locked behind the membership paywall. So the game offered a lot of customization that made whatever animal you picked feel really unique to your personality and style. You could even deck your animal in clothes that were, well, kind of hit or miss, to be honest, but still added to your animal's personality nonetheless. But of course, all the cool clothes were locked behind the membership paywall, because Nat Geo has to make their money somehow. Role-playing was and is a huge part of Animal Jam. Probably didn't need to tell you that. And I'm ashamed to say that I was once very heavily involved in this community. Warriors, the book by Aaron Hunter, who, by the way, is 4 different people, is a book about cats living in the wild where they all live in different clans. Not really super important, but it was huge for the role-playing community in Animal Jam. People would use, I think for the most part, they used wolves, just the normal wolves, as cats, and would use their dens, which was like their house in the game, as their clan base. And personally, I adored these books as a kid, even up until my mid-teenage years. And the idea of getting to play as one of the characters in the book, or even getting to make up my own character, was super appealing to me. And it was honestly really fun. I even went as far as to be in a friend's YouTube video where we both role-played as 2 of the cats from the series. It's kind of cringe, but also kind of funny to look back on. But in terms of like the actual gameplay that was built into the game by National Geographic, I think Animal Jam actually offers a lot more, in my opinion, than the contenders. Of course, they had mini games where you can win prizes, you can win money, you can win items, which is kind of a necessity in browser gaming. But it also did something a little bit different. It had adventures. Adventures were set up in a way for the player to kind of break away from the oftentimes monotonous mini games by going on a story-based adventure. The stories pretty much followed the lore of Animal Jam, where the phantoms, these goofy-ass eye things, are attacking the world, which is called Jamal, by the way, and it's your job as a furry in training to defeat them. And now that I'm thinking about it, these actually sucked more than the mini games did. But the big draw to the adventures wasn't necessarily the story, it was the chance to win super rare items. More on that a little later. And then there was Animal Jam YouTube. Now, while they definitely served a very small section of YouTube, the ones who got big got pretty big. Anytime they would join the game, servers would explode because people wanted a screenshot or an autograph, which was basically just a postcard in the game. But there were a few Animal Jam YouTubers who rose above the rest. They got so popular, they basically became the face of the game, the Jambassadors. The Jambassadors were, like I said, a select group of YouTubers who had a lot more subscribers than the rest, by like a lot. Most of them have kind of fallen off nowadays, not even really uploading to their channels anymore. But back in the heyday, they were pretty much unstoppable, even being flown out to VidCon one year which they called JamCon, which of course they did. By the way, they were flown out by National Geographic. They didn't just decide to go there. National Geographic sponsored them to go to JamCon. That's how freaking big they got. A big thing these YouTubers would do is giveaways. They would give away rare items, which leads me to my next point. Rare items. People would go crazy for these items that have no real world value. They're not real. But, you know, for instance, if you got a long black spot collar, which I think at one point was like the rarest item in the game, you could sell your account for probably like maybe $50, $100 or something like that. Like, that's how crazy it got. There even at one point was like a wiki. I think it's actually still up. There's a whole wiki devoted to what items are good to trade and stuff like that. I never was super into the trading scene because there was only one item that I cared about. The fox hat. The fox hat on the surface just looks like a goofy ass hat that looks like a fox. But for whatever reason, I've always wanted one. Now thinking about it, I think it actually has to do with the fact that I had a friend who had a fox hat and I just thought his animal looked really cool. And maybe that's why. I'm not really too sure. But I would spend hours upon hours trying to get this item through adventures or begging people in lobbies to please just give me one, trade for one. I'll do anything for a fox hat. Okay, maybe not anything, but I was just so freaking desperate. So that's why today I've decided I'm going to break the curse. Today is the day where I finally get the fox hat. I hope. So I started by making a new account because my old one got banned because I said the F word. And immediately I was taken aback because I had to download the game. I've never had to do that before. It's a browser game. You're not supposed to have to download anything. I was then also taken by surprise when I realized everything was in 3D. When Animal Jam is kind of a weird 2D, 3D mix of a game. I was on this version of Animal Jam for like 20 minutes until finally someone told me I was on the wrong version of Animal Jam. It's called Animal Jam Play Wild. I've never heard of that, but it's like the new Animal Jam. But don't worry, they have Animal Jam Classic, which is what I'm used to. So I immediately went and downloaded that and the adventure began. Now, naturally, I picked the wolf because that is objectively the best starter animal out of the rest of them. And after making my account, I immediately got distracted because I realized you can say poop in Animal Jam. So I had some fun with that. So after goofing around for like, no joke, like 2 hours, I finally jumped on my first adventure, the tutorial. Like I said in the beginning, Animal Jam adventures just suck. They're so boring. And finally, after 2 grueling minutes of having to go through the tutorial, I was done and I could finally start on the real adventures. I leveled up a little bit more, so I was high enough level to take on Greely's adventure, which, according to my research, was the quickest way to get items. After like 20 minutes of doing Greely's Revenge, I got bored and decided to make some buddies, which is what you call your friends in the game, and say poop a few more times because apparently I'm still 11. Something I discovered that was a little weird is that most of the people who were playing the game at the time I was playing, at least, were around my age, which I wasn't expecting. So maybe they were trying to get a fox hat too. I know I did this adventure for probably 2 straight hours before realizing I could get somebody to do the adventure with me and then get the second chest that I couldn't get before because I ended up turning into this thing, Phantom, whatever they're called. So after a few minutes of convincing my buddy to help me on this adventure, no lie, after 2 attempts, we got the fox hat. I've never had one in all my years of playing the game, so I wasn't sure how to react. It was like 2 a.m. I was very tired, so I think I just sort of did that and then turned my computer off and went to bed. But the next morning when I got back on and saw the fox hat sitting in my inventory, to say I was excited is an understatement. I was jumping up for joy, dancing like nobody was watching, and howling. Like I said, this is a really weird game. So anyway, if you did enjoy this video, please consider subscribing. I'm in the process of making a lot of videos right now, so there will be more coming very soon. Sorry for the delay on this one. I got bronchitis. Bruh. So I wasn't able to talk for like 2 weeks straight. Anyway, guys, I will see you in my next video. Please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. We're trying to get 1 billion subscribers by this February. So, yeah. Bye.